Hi, it's Jenny here from The Bear and the Fox. I'm back today with another roundup of books, and today is a bit of a special edition because today we're going to go wild. So let's get started. Now, 30 Days Wild is an initiative run in June by the Wildlife Trusts here in the UK, and it's to get people to go out and be wild every day. Now, it doesn't need to be anything drastic. You don't need to go out bushcrafting or building elaborate things or anything like that. You could just be collecting leaves or looking for bugs, or even just getting outside every day and not being a couch potato and just being aware of nature around you. Whether you live in the countryside or the city, anyone can take part. So what I wanted to do today was, instead of sharing picture books with you like I usually do, I want to share some great books with you that I have that have got lots of things you can do with your kid when you're outside. Again, it doesn't matter whether you live in the country or in the city, there should be something there for everyone. And of course, you don't have to be taking part in 30 Days Wild to make use of these books. So first up, I've got a really great book. It's called 101 Things for Kids to Do Outside. And out of all the books I'm going to show you today, if you only get one of these, I recommend you get this one because, well, it's got 101 things in it, so you're not going to run out of ideas anytime soon. And it's got a really great mixture, everything. It's got games, crafts, building a mud pie kitchen. What else have we got? Making a rain gauge. How to create your own nature exhibit, that's quite a fun one. And well, there's 101 ideas in here, so I'm not going to be able to go through them all, but I did want to show you at the back there's a really great index of categories to help you navigate this book. And the categories are things like good for parties, good for younger children, good for older children, really quick projects that can be finished in an hour, projects that are good for spring, summer, autumn, winter, games, craft projects. So if you just get one book, get this one. Next up, I have a book from Usborne. Usborne do really great non-fiction books, and this is one of them, the Usborne Outdoor Books, inspiring ideas for discovering and exploring the outdoors. And this is split into categories. So we've got things like exploring ponds, rivers and seas, investigating the woods, exploring at night, exploring different kinds of weather. And the illustrations are beautiful, like all Usborne books. So if you're looking for something maybe a bit shorter, a bit easier to navigate, here's cloud spotting. I love that page. Then this is a really good book sort of to get started. One last one, stargazing. We love a bit of stargazing in our house. The next book is a recent addition to our library. It's called Let Your Kids Go Wild Outside, Creative Ways to Help Children Discover Nature and Enjoy the Great Outdoors. And just like the Usborne book, this is split into categories. So we've got Into the Woods, Meadows, Hedgerows and Hills, The Seashore, Water and Wetlands, and My Wild Garden and Kitchen. But as you can see, unlike the Usborne book, this is a lot thicker and a lot more detailed. It's got everything from like checklists, pictures to help you identify things. It's got lots of background information about famous naturalists and famous ecologists, how to classify plants and animals. And then in between, it's got sort of little activities you can do. So I want to try this one, how to make a kraken out of an old plastic bottle and some seaweed, sort of combining natural materials and recycling. We like that. This is sort of a really great reference book to have. So while say the 101 Things to Do book has really straightforward instructions and you can just pick one thing and go and do it, and this book is maybe sort of one to have on the shelf to do some pre-planning, pre-research, or when you come back home from exploring nature to look up some of the things that you've discovered. Next up is a wee book I picked up a while ago called I Love Dirt, and with two wee boys. The title could not be more perfect, although I think they probably love the dirt more than I do. And this one is split into spring, summer, autumn and winter. It's not illustrated, it's got a few little pictures here and there, but mostly it's not illustrated. What I love about this book is it's A book to make you think that little bit further, and it's got some good discussion points. So just an example, here's one, Puddle Jumpers. And you'd think, how much can you say about jumping in puddles? I mean, here's a puddle, jump in it, have some fun. But it suggests talking to your child about, you know, what's the puddle made of? How deep is it? Why is it here? Look at the surface of the puddle. What happens to the surface when you touch it or when you throw a stone in it? And each bit at the end has a little box. This says, help me understand. So for the puddles, you know, help me understand how puddles are made. So this book is if you want to take it a little bit further and not just get a fun activity to do, but maybe also do some further thinking and reflecting with your kids. Next up is a book that could not be more perfect for my younger son. The teachers at his nursery call him Stick Man because he's always rocking up with giant sticks. And the book is called The Stick Book. Now, you may think, how many things can you write about a stick? Well, you'll be surprised. This book has 70 ideas of what you can do with a stick. And you can make all kinds of things, from sort of the obvious, things like building a den or making a catapult, to other things like making bow and arrow. Not sure I want to make one of those for my 3-year-old. So here we've got how to make a wizard's wand or a wriggly snake. Got some games to play, playing pick-up sticks, or just, you know, throwing a stick to play with a dog. So some of the things in this book are really obvious, and some of the things you might not have thought about before. So here's a game I hadn't heard of, how to play Aunt Sally. So if you have a kid who loves sticks, then you might want to give this book a little read. And from the same authors is the Wild City book. So some of the ideas in the other books are a bit difficult if you maybe don't have a garden or a park or woodlands near you, although they do all include plenty of ideas that you can do in the city. But this book is specifically written for activities if you live in the city. So the categories in this one is wildlife in the city, imaginative play, celebrations and festivals, storytelling and music, games and trails, wild streets. So again, just going to give you a quick idea. It's got things like going on a nature scavenger hunt. That's one of the activities we love doing. And another one, growing food in small spaces. So whether you've got a garden or maybe a balcony or just a window box, you can do that. This is a really nice one to do, water graffiti. It's basically painting with water. So whether you're doing it sort of on the pavement or in a backyard, all you need is a dry sunny day, which admittedly is sometimes hard to come by in Scotland, and a bucket of water and a sponge or a paintbrush, and you can have a go at water painting. So if you live in the city, this is a really good book to have on hand. Another great book if you live in the city, this was one of my favourite books as a child. I've got the German one, it's called Linnaeus Jahrbuch. There is an English version called Linnaeus Almanac. It's out of print, but you can get second-hand copies from third-party sellers if you look online. And I love this book. It's about a little girl who lives in the city, and the book takes you through the seasons. In January, she's making a bird feeder. This is one of the summer months, how to make a crown out of dandelions. I love this one. And so in December, she's making handcrafted gifts for her friends with all the things that she's found throughout the year. So these are bits of pottery that she found on the beach when she was on holiday in the summer. So this is just a really lovely book. And when I was little, I wanted to do everything Linnea was doing every month, and I still love going back to this. And I love looking at it with my boys too. And then last but not least is another lovely little book. It's called The Small Adventures Journal. A little field guide for big discoveries in nature. This is a bit of a mixture. So it's got lots of things in it to help you when you're outside. So it's got checklists, like a checklist for what to wear when you're outside naturing, and it's got activities to do like stop and listen, what's going on around you. Then there's also a spot of cloud spotting, but what this book also does, and you can see it here, is it's got lots of space to actually write in. So it's a journal. It's not just a book to look up ideas and activities, it is a journal. So it's got lots of space to write in. So there's the clouds, there's pages for bird watching. And so on one side you've got to help you identify the birds, and then on the other side there's space to record your findings. So this is a really great little book actually for getting your kids involved, and they can help. If you've got older kids, they can help to actually fill in the journal. So that's all the books I had to show you. So maybe just as a little recap, going backwards, there's the Small Adventures Journal with lots of space to write in. There is Linnea's Almanac and the Wild City Book for lots of ideas if you live in the city. The Stick Book if you have a stick obsessed kid like I do. I Love Dirt was a great little book if you wanted to reflect a bit more maybe on the things you were doing in nature. Let Your Kids Go Wild Outside was a great reference book to have on the shelf to go into a bit more detail. And then finally we had the Osborne Outdoor Book and 101 Things for Kids to Do Outside, and Osborne was a slightly slimmer book, so maybe a good one to get started, and gorgeous illustrations. And then 101 Things to Do won't have you running out of ideas anytime soon. It's got something for all ages and for all seasons. So I hope that's given you some inspiration for getting outside and exploring nature with your kids, regardless of whether you're taking part in 30 Days Wild or not. If you enjoyed the episode, then please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will pop a list of all the book titles and details over on my blog, and you'll find a link to that in the notes below. So stay wild, and I will see you next time. Bye!